Hey everybody, it's Alex. Welcome to Somewhere in October. I'm gonna recap my experience at Hellifax Horror Film Festival. Think I said that right? It's gonna be right here either way. I've never been to anything like this before, so this was brand new to me. And honestly, I didn't get the full experience. I'm still working full time. It's kind of really difficult. But what I did get to go for was pretty amazing. It was really great. The volunteers were really great. I got to watch feature films. I got to watch shorts. I got to hear from cast, crew. I sat next to an actress. I heard from a director, writer. It was just so cool. So if you can go to film festivals, like especially local ones, definitely do it. And I hope that this is the start of something, on this YouTube journey I'm on and this community that I'm now in. I'm really excited to get more involved with this because it was so fun. This is going to be a spoiler-free discussion on 3 of the major feature films that I saw. I'm going to just give you a little rundown of my thoughts and who I would recommend them to. I am going to deep dive one of them, which I'll tell you soon, but I want to give an honorable mention to a short called The Lonely Portrait. So The Lonely Portrait is by Mark Marishi. I think I'm saying that right. I'll put a little picture here and I'll link everything below. This was my first experience with short. With shorts, I either felt like I didn't get enough and I really wanted more. That is also obviously an intention of some of these shorts, which can work, but it didn't wow me. And then some other shorts had a conclusion, but it tried to dive into something deep in just a short amount of time and it didn't really resonate. But this one was fun, interesting, captivating. It told a story from start to finish and still left me wanting more. It was so good. So if you can check it out somewhere, definitely check it out. But the idea is a guy goes into an Airbnb and he finds all these paintings on the wall, and there's clearly a spot where a painting should be. And as he's browsing through the Airbnb, he finds a painting on the floor in a closet. He was like, you know what, I'll hang this up. It did look innocent enough, to be fair. And this actually started really funny. It was kind of humorous what was going on. I don't want to spoil anything. And then it just took a dark turn and I was on edge. And the concept was so simple and so scary. I was scared me probably the most of any of the movies I saw this weekend. So now let's get into the feature films. The first one is Mom from 2024. So this stars Emily Hampshire. I don't know if I'm saying her name right. She's Stevie in Schitt's Creek. If you haven't watched Schitt's Creek, go watch it. Her acting alone is impeccable and worth the watch. I didn't enjoy the viewing experience of this movie because it was dark and disturbing, but I enjoyed the movie in terms of it's worth a one watch. I will never watch it again. Don't ask me to. It's just a really dark and disturbing concept. So I'll give you a rundown. We have 3 people. Meredith, which is Emily, so she's the mom. Jared, and they're new parents, so they have a newborn. She sees an apparition of her son in the future and can talk to him and engage with him while still actively caring for her newborn. And she clearly has postpartum depression. This is kind of in the realm of grief horror. I think people say Babadook is about that, and Daddy's Head I've heard have had those similar themes. So I would probably group that in with that. So if you like those types of things, you might enjoy this. It was really good at what it did. It just was kind of predictable and it didn't go as scary as it could, but it did go as disturbing. It was very, very disturbing. If you can't deal with babies and postpartum and depression and stuff like that, it's hard. But what I do like is they do also highlight the dad and everything about him and what it means. So it's just this very mind-boggling, disturbing story of this mom and this child through visions, apparitions. There's this bug symbology that's pretty strong in the movie. It's worth a watch once. I would love for you to watch and let me know what you think. It just doesn't have a lot of rewatchability because it's dark, okay? It is dark. The second one I'm gonna talk about is The Last Video Store. This is way more lighthearted. It is a comedy horror. It is so fun. If you need to put on a movie for a group of friends, since I just watched it, it won't be until next year, but I definitely want to do a Discord watch party for it. It is so fun. So The Last Video Store, Yaya Adams is the girl in it, and she was actually sat next to me, which was so cool. We got to speak with her. I didn't realize it was her until after I bothered her 3 times to get in and out of my seat to go get chips. I was like, oh, of course I would do this. And the other main guy is also a fabulous actor. He is hilarious. You have to watch this movie. It is so fun. And it has really good references, not only to just Canadian humor, but horror humor and just horror knowledge. And it has all these elements of a slasher, but it all takes place in this video store. which is so aesthetic. Like the aesthetic alone for the movie is amazing. It all takes place in this very small video store, and they have this tape. And basically what this tape does is it releases the villains in movies. So you have this really big movie buff who knows all the facts about the movies, everything about everything, this girl who's just trying to return tapes, and they have to battle their way out of these movie villains. And sometimes like other characters come in that will be victims, or you'll have like a hero come in. Honestly, at the end when you see the creature that is in the VCR, that is really cool in itself. I just wanted more and more and more of this movie because it could have went so many ways. I think it is built off shorts or other smaller films, so there's probably more out there for me to watch, but this was so fun. I would love to see another one. The acting was so fun. I was cracking up. I was on edge. I loved it. And the third we're going to talk about, which is the one I'm going to do an actual recap on because there was so much thought process, so I'm not going to give you too much, is Die Alone. So this is a 2024 movie. This was directed and written by Lowell Dean, and he actually spoke to us, which was so cool. It was such a good feeling for me to pick up on certain things and even figure out that I was frustrated with an actor, but that's exactly how he wanted him to be. And I was like, the fact that that's intention and it all pays off makes this movie perfect to me. It's an eco-horror setting, but it's a love story that deals with morality. So it's just kind of right in with like the Donnie Darko premonition of it all. You guys know I love that, so I love this one. And it stars Carrie-Anne Moss from The Matrix and Frank Grillo. Like, it's so good. And I think Douglas Smith is the main guy in it. And so it starts with these two people, Ethan and Emma. They are in a car, they get into an accident, and we find out that Ethan has lost Emma. And his whole pursuit is trying to find her in this eco-horror zombie apocalypse. He finds this woman, May. She's an older woman, and she's more of accepted what's happened to her. She's built a house, a farm, she's living. You know, she doesn't trust many people. She has to fight off thieves while also looking out for these zombies. And he is just looking for Emma. And he is a damsel in distress. And that's what he described him as, because he has amnesia. So he is so helpless. And for the first act of the movie, he is just so obsessed with finding Emma. He's so helpless that everything just kind of pisses you off. The first act, I was like, I don't know how to support this guy's story. I can't root for you because you cannot survive on your own. May has to keep saving your ass. And then we get into the second act. And the second act is when we get introduced to more of the survivors or the people going around. We see more of the beautiful eco-horror designs. And things start to take very hard right turns. When there's more to the story, but it hits you in the face, that's how I like things to happen. During the second act, it just keeps going. I was completely enthralled. Everything I was frustrated with, everything that made me feel a little bit weird, everything I questioned, it all paid off. Every single thing paid off. The acting was great. I love the story, the setting. There are definitely scary parts, and there's definitely some action parts, because you're also, when you look at zombie movies or apocalypse movies, you're talking about you versus the zombie and then you versus them for survival, right? You versus them as in people still alive. You get different aspects of that. So some of the horror is sometimes more thriller or action, but it's really, really fun. So if you like zombie movies at all, you'll definitely like this. I think everybody should watch it. I think it's such a good movie. And I love the setting, the practical effects. Everything was so beautiful. This was top notch for me. This was my 5-star out of 5-star for the festival. I'm gonna do a deep dive on that. I'm going to get better at making more time for festivals and kind of getting more out of them, but I want to share that with you because it was so fun. So